Guys, I'm here at Social Media Marketing World 2020 with Jeff Barch from Story Greenlight, and in this episode we're going to talk about how to be more intentional with your editing for your videos so that they have the right impact that you're after. So keep watching. G'day guys, Ben Amos from Engage Video Marketing, and in this channel I help you engage your ideal audience to action through effective online video strategy. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and stay up to date with each new video as it rolls. Got people walking behind me. Anyway, I'm here with Jeff Barch from Story Greenlight. Jeff is a LA-based video editor, and you may have heard him on my podcast before if you're listening to the podcast. But we're going to talk about how to be more intentional with your edits. So, Jeff, tell us a little bit about what you do. What's your expertise, man?
Sure. My background is in broadcast television editing. So I've been editing in Hollywood for the last 20 years, and there is a point where I realized this is something that I really, really love to do, and I want to take the stuff that I've learned and help other people. You know, one of the things I say is like I'm not so much seeking success in Hollywood for myself anymore. I want to help people find a piece of Hollywood in themselves.
Nice, cool.
So that's one of the reasons why I started up Story Greenlight, which is my online community. And so we talk about how to create content that is the very best that it can be, that connects with your audience and gets your message out into the world.
When it comes to editing video content, I think for many people, they think of it as just like kind of stitching bits together, right? So cutting out the stuff you don't want and making sure that you got the stuff that you want in it and putting it in order, right?
Which it totally is.
Is that it?
That is absolutely a major part of it. And my frustration is that so often people stop there. Yeah. And they don't realize that there is a continuum of when you're looking at the editing and even in the bigger stage of the idea of content creation in general, you have something where it's like, okay, on this side, it's like writing a shopping list. Get milk, get eggs, get food for the dog kind of thing. Yeah. And then on the opposite side, it's write a Shakespearean sonnet. You know, it's the shopping list or the Shakespeare. And most people don't realize that that this continuum exists. They just think it's one thing or the other. You talk to professional editors, you talk to especially film editors, which, you know, my background is exclusively in TV at this point. You talk to film editors, they're saying all editing is art. You are the storyteller, you are rewriting the script, and the rest of the world says, dude, we don't use scripts. That's not, we don't have a whole fleet of trucks parked in the parking lot with all the gear and fancy equipment. So they could disconnect. And then a lot of the times people on the other side say, oh, well, you're just making a YouTube video. It's just this little thing. It's like making a widget. Here, just shut up and quit whining about being creative. Just make more widgets. And so my question is, how many people have ever had their life changed from engaging with a widget?
Yeah.
You know, how likely are you to have your message really land with your ideal prospect by giving them a widget?
So when someone's creating video for business, right? So whether that be more of a video blog kind of a video or a promotional video or something like that, like if they're intentional in what they're saying, so what they film in the first place, how do you then through the edit, I guess, distill that down or make that more impactful? Like what are the key things you're kind of looking for when you're editing or when you're creating the edit there, that or what do you need to cut out? Maybe that's more the question. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it depends on what your message is that you want, that you're starting with. A lot of people can get into the whole rambling thing and just say all the hems and the ha's and the uhs and say, oh, and that kind of reminds me of this thing, and it's really easy to get off track. So that's where you're back to the very functional bam, 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 like stay focused. Remember exactly what you're talking about and remove things that don't directly apply to that, especially when you're talking with YouTube content. There is it's not like you're cutting a half hour or an hour long television episode where you have to get exactly the right amount of content to fill this allotted space. You have a lot of freedom. And a lot of people are much more likely to watch shorter content rather than longer. So if your content is wandering, or if it's trying to say too much, one of the first things that I often say is break it up into multiple videos. Don't try to shoehorn a ridiculous amount of information in one piece. So that's one idea. Another part of it is a lot of people worry about editing so they look 100% perfect.
Yeah, and cutting out every little stumble.
Every little thing. Yeah. Like, I don't even want to let people see me breathe.
Yeah.
That can contribute to a super snappy, quick boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And it can amp up the energy for sure. And there is a time and place for that. The thing that I've been seeing as the audiences continue to grow with online media, they get more sophisticated, they get more and more aware of when people are putting on a false front. And so whatever we can do, and especially in business, to keep the shiny veneer that everything is perfect. But you know what? The number one thing you can do to connect with your audience in spite of all that, no matter what you're shooting, is just to be human and to let these moments of humanness show through, even to the point of being what some people might consider a little dumb or stupid.
Yeah.
Because what that ultimately does is that lets people that tells people that you have the confidence to present an imperfect version of yourself, and that is incredibly relatable when everyone is just going to Instagram or other places and flipping through all these perfectly polished things, and then all of a sudden you go to YouTube or something and you see this person with a business that has a product or service that can actually help you, and there's a real person?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yes, I'm gonna. Okay, tell me more. I'll watch more. Tell me more about what you're doing, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, people buy from people, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
So, in your opinion, as an editor, and obviously you professionally edit for television, right, for broadcast, but I know you also have experience editing YouTube content and social media content as well. So, what do you think are the distinct differences, or are there differences between how you might edit for YouTube versus Facebook versus Instagram? I know, like YouTube, for example, you often see a lot of jump cuts and cutting a lot of pauses and keeping that energy high and all that sort of stuff. So what would you say is kind of, how should you be approaching things differently based on the platform?
Well, the number one thing is to bear in mind who the audience is and why they are there.
Yeah.
Because you want to have an epic 10-minute dialogue on, or an epic 10-minute monologue on the thing that you really care about, your business manifesto, and you're going to put a 10-minute dialogue on Facebook, you might get a few people to watch it, but people are they're scrolling through their Facebook feeds just like they scroll through the Instagram feeds. And it's like you have to get something that's like a billboard that instantly stops people. And if it's incredible, they might watch part of it. And a tiny handful of people might watch all of it. But most people are not there to sit and watch. Whereas you go to YouTube, it's a completely different world. They are there, they have the expectation that they are going to be sitting, they're going to be watching, and they're there for a reason most of the time. Whether it's to learn something or to be entertained, or just to be distracted and not be bored, which is kind of going along with the entertainment thing. So when we're shaping content, we need to know running length and how focused the message needs to be. So if you're cutting something for Facebook or Instagram, you need to have a deadly sharp hook to grab people's attention at the beginning. You have to tell them exactly what they're going to be getting and why they should watch any of this, which frankly applies to anything you do with online media.
Yeah.
But then with Facebook and Instagram specifically, you need to jump right into it, into the meat of the content.
Which is very different to traditional broadcast, right? I think for any video producers or editors out there that are, I guess, have come up through that kind of an approach is you need to rethink the way you're approaching things when it comes to online, particularly because you need to lead with the best bits. Like typically I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Jeff, but you would kind of lead up to the best bits, right? In traditional storytelling and broadcast. But often online you need to lead with the value, right? Lead with the best bits.
And this is one of the corollaries between broadcast TV and online media, is the idea of a high energy opening, or if not straight up high energy, a very specifically engaging, dropping hints of the best bits right up at the top and setting expectations. This is what's going to be happening. If you stick around, you will see stuff like this, and we're going to be answering questions like this. So people who want to get the answers to those kind of questions, they know that, okay, this is for me. I will stay. I will watch. But if you're opening, the vloggers are so often guilty of this. They say, I have an amazing camera, I have an amazing lens, and I can shoot slow-mo video. It looks amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going to B-roll sequence.
With a 60-second B-roll sequence, and everyone says, why?
Yeah, why?
Click.
Yeah, they're not even watching. Retention.
Yeah, for sure. So certainly with business-based content, we want to very specifically set the expectation up front. And so in broadcast world, we do things called the cold open, or a super tease, or tonight on.
Yeah.
That's an opening, high produced piece, and then you can move into the other content as you see fit.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, and often that's called the hook, right? So we talk about you need that highly intentional, highly valuable hook that if you don't hook them, you've lost them. As simple as that.
100%.
Yeah, so you got to plan for that in the production of your content, but also absolutely think of that specifically in your edit.
And the cool thing is, you can save so many things in the edit.
Yeah.
You can use title cards in the edit. You can use voiceover in the edit. You can just take certain clips that you weren't planning on using, and you can put that up at the front or whatever, and fill in those gaps. You have a huge amount of latitude available to you. So that's the cool thing. It's like, if people only look at the editing, back to beating my drum, if people only look at editing as this, it's just you cutting the heads and the tails off of things, and that's all it is, you're cutting yourself off at the knees, because there is so much more power available for people who take the time to say, okay, this can be made, this can be elevated, this can be more than what it is.
That's cool. Hopefully that's inspired some of you guys as well to think differently about what you're doing with your editing. Jeff, that's been awesome. So let people know how they can find out more about you and follow you.
Yeah, I'm the founder of an online community called Story Greenlight. You can learn more at storygreenlight.com. And one of the things that we do is, we basically, the core of it is we talk about how to help content creators level up their content, break through creative blocks, and really create content that connects with your audience and makes an impact and makes a mark in the world. And we have a monthly membership that focuses on that and interacts with each other and helps people and encourage people to do that specifically. And it's called the Green Room. So you can go to storygreenlight.com/greenroom to learn more about that. And that's what we do.
Cool, man.
Love to see you there.
Yeah. Well, links in the description to everything that Jeff just talked about there. And click right here over Jeff's head to check out his channel as well. Awesome channel with more great tips like this. And leave a comment below about what you took away from this episode. What's your editing trick? Let me know. Okay, take care. See you next time.